So this week, which is the 17th to the 23rd of August, we are going to have our last moon, our last new moon before we hit eclipse season. And there is a really big focus this week, which is going to become bigger in September around ancestry, around ancestral trauma, around the good and the bad karmas or vasanas, the karmic seeds that we have inherited through our ancestral lineage. And that is because um, I should say today, the sun is going to enter Leo. It is going to enter a part of Leo called Magha Nakshatra. And Magha Nakshatra is associated with ancestry. It is associated with lineage. And it really is about both the traumas that we have inherited. So that can be up to 7 generations back. You know, if you had family that were involved in genocide, that experienced famine, that experienced war, but equally family that developed wisdom and understanding and tools to create stability. These things still live within you. You are that part of your lineage. And so, as the moon is waning this week, because we're going to be having a Leo new moon on Saturday in Magha Nakshatra, and quickly I'll just mention the ritual and reading for that new moon is now live. There's details below if you want to work with it, really engage with it. And that means that both the sun and moon this week are moving into alignment with the fixed star Regulus. Now, I'm not sure if you've heard of Regulus before. Regulus is a very important star. It is the star of Archangel Raphael, and it's a star associated with healing, with courage. But this part of Leo, which is the heart of Leo, which is what Regulus is, it really deals with mourning, it deals with death, it deals with endings, and it deals with a fundamental change in a condition or state. And it can feel like this week that you yourself are going through some type of death. And death isn't just the physical death, which I think we all kind of like run to and we fear. But it's the idea of like that shedding of a part of self, the death of the ego, the death of a thought, the ending of a vasana, the ending of an ancestral energy or programming that actually doesn't serve you, that you've needed to release. That is all possible this week. Added to that, Magha Nakshatra, which is the first bit of Leo. So, you know, yesterday you might have noticed the energy was pretty difficult, and today it will be as well. And I'll explain why when we get to today's astrology. But Magha Nakshatra is ruled by the South Node, or K2 in Vedic astrology. And the South Node is also sitting in Leo. So we are in the throes of an ending and getting clear on what beginning we want to bring about, particularly because this energy of like endings and beginnings, of ancestral lineage, of death and rebirth will be really big as we head into September. And this week is giving us a taste of it. As I said, this is going to be our last moon before we hit eclipse season, which will be on the 7th to 8th of September. And it will go for that month of September pretty much. And so if you're looking to lay intentions, you're looking for a bit of guidance, use the new moon on Saturday. It will be your last chance for a month to really co-create with the universe before eclipse season happens and we don't manifest on those moons. So let's get into today's astrology. I feel like Sunday is really a day of breakthroughs today, and the sun is going to enter Marga. It will feel difficult through to Monday because the sun is in a position called Gandanta. It's coming out of the waters of Cancer and it is moving into the fire of Leo. And so it's almost like steam, an internal steam going on. And it can feel metaphorically today and tomorrow like you're shedding your skin. Um, You're changing your mind even about something that you were really definitive on while the sun was in Cancer over the last month. So, kind of back to the 15th to 17th of July. Something is shifting. Something that you were maybe entertaining in early July or August starts to change, and there might even be confusion around this. So just don't be surprised. It's okay. You're allowed to change your mind. And this moon can bring up that tension between, like, I've agreed to something, but now I'm going back on what I said, or I want something different. And it's really, I'm sorry, this sun is really about sitting in that difficult energy and being okay with it. Now, the sun will be in Magha. So, like I said, that's a part of Leo. It's the first nakshatra of Leo, and it's the heart of Leo. It will be there till the 31st of August. Um, and then when we hit September, so we're going to be heading into the realm of relationships, which I'm going to talk about when we get to September's astrology in a couple of weeks. Now, like I said at the beginning, Marga deals with ancestry. It deals with leadership. It deals with world leaders. It deals with eminence. It deals with the ego. And it also, because it's ruled by the South Node and the South Node holds our past life karmas, it really deals with the ancestral karmic seeds that we have inherited in this lifetime. That we have, and those are the things that, the wisdom that has been accumulated by our ancestors that we have inherited, as well as the trauma. And so it's really a period of time of, like, of honoring what lives within us, of honoring the ancestral lineage we've been born into, and even considering what no longer serves, like what needs to shift and change. Like I said, I'm going to repeat myself again, but ancestry is going to be a really big theme this week as we come into the new moon on Saturday, but also through to eclipse season in September. Because in September with eclipse season, we're going to have a festival called Pitru Paksha, which is Ancestors Fortnight. It's a Vedic celebration of our ancestry, and it's going to be with eclipse season. So you can find that it's a period of really diving deep into your lineage, into your ancestors, into understanding the programming you're still playing out that seemingly comes from nowhere. We all do it, it all lives within us, and we can see it at the moment on the world stage in the news at the moment. So it's a time of honoring and releasing what no longer serves. Now, while the sun is in Magha Nakshatra until the 31st of August, there's going to be a really big focus on ethical leadership, on upholding dharma or what is right, as well as, because that's what the sun is bringing up. So it's going to be shedding light on the opposite of that, which is people and leaders that have visions of grandeur that just are simply not true, abuses of power that will create ancestral trauma. So we're really in the throes of this, like, learning about leadership, learning about the ripple effect our behaviors have, not just on the karma we get in the next life, but on our ancestral lineage. So just know that the sun will be square Uranus this week, and Uranus is sitting in Taurus, in a part of Taurus called Kritika. And I really feel like, because we've got a couple of countries, the US and Israel, and organizations like the UN that are going through their Uranus returns, that I feel like there's going to be a lot of conflict that comes up as a part of this. We will be experiencing how leadership creates trauma, and equally how ancestral trauma is repeated again and again and again within the world. And there'll be important, I assume, based on this transit, there'll be really important news that comes out about the US, Israel, and around the UN. Now, at the same time that that's all happening, today, Venus is going to trine the North Node. That means being in harmony with the North Node. And Venus is in a part of Gemini called Purnavasu. And the North Node is in Aquarius, in a part of Aquarius called Dhanishta. And these two are going to be in harmony with each other they have been since the 9th of August, and they will be until the 26th. There can be, so even though there's this kind of like ancestral energy going on, Venus and the North Node are really encouraging you to explore, to really open yourself up to new thinking, to living in a more authentic way, to really honoring what is true for you and living your values, even when they make other people uncomfortable, particularly in social situations. to honor what is true, not what is conventional or socially acceptable, to move away even from what you see your friends doing or what you see social groups doing. And it might even be maybe there's a social group you've been a part of that just no longer fits with the values that you hold. It can be a time of moving out of that. This beautiful energy between Venus and the North Node can bring incredible insight, flashes of understanding that come in to help you understand the world, to help you understand um, and even find confidence in social situations. There can also be, it can also feel uncomfortable, just know, because the North Node is at play. So almost this tension between like wanting to fit in, but just not being able to anymore. Along with that, their position with the moon, which I'll talk about in a second, can actually bring incredible insight into matters around your self-worth and value. So maybe how you've been undervaluing yourself within your friendship groups or in the particular friendship relationships you've had, or even undervaluing yourself by not speaking up for what you believe in with compassion to the people around you. Now, the moon today is in Rohini Nakshatra. It's really good. Like, so yes, the sun is moving into Marga. We're dealing with this ancestral energy, but the moon in Rohini, it's at home. Um, it's at home in Rohini. It's exalted in this part of Taurus called Rohini Nakshatra. So I just feel like today there can be really unexpected insight, even in conflict. The moon is going to be in harmony with Pluto and Mars and Saturn and Neptune. I just, like, it really does feel like there's some kind of breakthrough that happens. And at a personal level, it can make this day very creative, very romantic. This is a moon that grants growth. It wants things to grow. So that can be like literally gardening, or it can be like sharing love with someone. And if there's something you want to build or cook or a project you want to finish or creativity you want to explore, it's a beautiful day to do this without the need for it to be productive. And the big watch out with this moon is just be careful that you don't fall in love with what you create, that you give your love freely and you're really present with it. Because when we fall in love with what we create, we get attached and it starts to hurt. And this moon, can sometimes play with that energy. So create freely, create without expectation. You don't need what you create to make you money or to make some massive social change. What if you just did something that was super anti-capitalist and just enjoyed yourself and found pleasure today? That's all that is required of you. Now on Monday, um, Mercury, which is sitting in Cancer, will move into harmony with Mars, which is sitting in Virgo, in a part of Virgo called Hasta Nakshatra, which I spoke about last week. This is really nice energy. Mars and Mercury, when they form this angle, generally it means that like our words and actions are going to match one another. We'll say we're going to do something, and on Monday, it's really easy to follow through on those words. It's really easy to be realistic with what we promise, and to use our hands to get our words into practical form. And it can be a really great day. Say if you're back at work or whatever it is that you're doing on a Monday, it's a great day for strategy, to plan, to consider where you need to focus. Don't be worried if the action of the words is just writing them down. It's just drawing out a plan that you're going to follow. You don't need to make everything happen at once today. But really, it's a really nice day. I would be using it to plan out your future, to think about what's to come, to also allow for an element of surprise of like, there's going to be some things you don't know that are coming. The moon is going to be in Migashira, which means it will be moving from Taurus to Gemini, and it's going to be moving past the asteroid Hygeia. This is a day of searching, learning, understanding, researching. So, although Mars has got this really beautiful energy with Mercury, I would be saying, like, use the day, yes, for your words to match your action, but also just to dive deep into learning more about something. It's a moon that is best used for researching, for understanding new concepts, for asking questions, for getting curious and not drawing a conclusion. Don't use this day to necessarily land on answers. It can be really hard for the mind to be satisfied by an answer on Monday because of the placement of the moon. And if you notice that the mind is running, particularly towards the end of the day when the moon enters Gemini, use it to be proactive because it's going to be sitting with the asteroid Hygeia. So consider on Monday afternoon, what have you been putting off? What is the thing that you kind of have been meaning to do, but you haven't? And it could be as simple as doing your taxes. Great time to do that. Also a great time to have proactive conversations, to reach out, to get ahead of timing on things you know are going to come up later. Including in particular, like conversations with romantic partners, with children, or people that are directly involved with your path or your direction in life. So then we get to Tuesday the 19th. The moon is going to move from Mrigashira into Ardra Nakshatra, which is sitting in Gemini, and the moon will be sitting with Pravati. And why this is important is the moon represents our mind, right? Our mind is always changing, just like the moon. And the moon in Ardra is stormy. So after Monday, where it's like a lot of researching and understanding, Tuesday can feel a little bit emotional. It can feel stormy, it can feel wild, it can stir things up. There might be thunder in the atmosphere or thunder within you, and it calls for you to make an effort for what you want. Don't sit on the sidelines. Even if something's going to be hard, at least take the step forward into it. It's really about, it's a day where it's like the universe will reward you in time, not necessarily today, for just making that first step forward. You can find if you're trying to track something down today, um, or focus on a goal, but maybe not reaching it, there can be a struggle between where you are now and where you want to be. And that can often be where that stormy Ardra energy is. The mind, and meaning the moon, can find this position quite difficult, and it can be a day where difficult emotions come up. Maybe things you've been trying to suppress around your direction in life and knowing what you're doing. It's a great day to cry. It's a great day to pay attention if you do cry or if there's emotion coming up. Consider that you're releasing something, but you might also be watering something with those tears. They might actually be creating new growth within you. It's a great day if things are feeling a lot or a bit emotional, to be in nature, to connect with animals, if you've got pets, or be out looking at birds or looking at nature, to really get outdoors as a moon's to free up and help process that emotion. That all said, like the position of this moon, it kind of like, even though it's stormy, it's actually promising a bit of luck and almost like an expansive day, so long as you're following what is true to you. So long as you are moving to the beat of your own drum, it will reward honesty. So if you notice yourself getting hung up in the little details and upset by that, zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Now on Wednesday, this is really like Wednesday is that energy of like new energy or like a dawn that is coming, like just a mini one. We're not talking about huge new chapters, but the sun, which like I said at the beginning, is sitting in Magha, which is the first nakshatra, the first lunar mansion of Leo, is going to be in harmony with Chiron, which is sitting in Aries, in a part of Aries called Ashwini. I love this. When I'm talking about ancestral healing, Wednesday is a day where answers can come really, really quickly to trauma, programming, issues around power and control, ways in which you see the world that are actually not helping you and they're not yours. Like that energy didn't start with you. It's very much a day on Wednesday that can bring healing to those issues and also healing to issues you've had around your health. Maybe you've got a sore throat or there's some kind of like small acute illness. There can be cures that come that are really rapid, as well as help working through ancestral illnesses and ailments. So if you are working with a hereditary disease or issue, Wednesday can be a great day for finding a solution or a cure, or even looking at a new practitioner to work with. It's also an energy for all of us that can feel like a new dawn is coming. And this is reiterated by the fact that the moon is moving into Purnavasu, which means it's moving from Gemini to Cancer. It's going to be sitting with Jupiter and Venus, who were together last week. It's a really good day. It's a day of deep and profound wisdom, particularly if Tuesday was stormy. It's really nice as the moon will be with Jupiter in Jupiter's home nakshatra. Jupiter rules Purnavasu. Jupiter is sitting in Purnavasu, as is Venus, and the moon will be there too. There can be insight, understanding, a call to get creative, using your words to write about what you're learning, or simply having a conversation and talking with each other from that place of insight, from that thing you have understood after the stormy weather on Wednesday. This is a day also where you can find that you're just feeling at home in yourself, in your body. There can be a sense of revitalization, something within you that's coming back to life, the energy to look at the world with greater optimism. It can also be a day where you get to see the possibilities, the bigger vision. You can connect the dots with all that the universe is teaching and all that you're learning. And particularly if you've been going through big lessons around love, relationships, and money, this day can bring some answers or at least some kind of like peace of mind. It very much is Wednesday, the start of new energy, the dawn, a new chapter in how you see the world and your role within this world, how you communicate and express what is true for you. Now, on Thursday, the 21st of August, Venus is going to finally enter Cancer. She'll be joining, she'll be entering Cancer until the 15th of September. She's in Purnavasu still, which is a nakshatra that sits across Gemini and Cancer with Jupiter until the 23rd of August. So we're in this really expansive, abundant energy, the marriage of like the material and the spiritual realm. Now, Venus entering Cancer, the focus until the 15th of September is very much on self-worth. You're going to feel it on Thursday and it will keep on building about belonging, about how you value your home life. It maybe if you're looking to move homes, change something in how you live that involves like spending money on the home, on something to go in the home, that can be what's coming up. Now, Venus in Cancer is really a call to find comfort, to enjoy being at home, to enjoy that sense of belonging and luxuriating in the beauty of being at home. And while she's in Purnavasu, which is ruled by Jupiter, it can feel like you're being stretched. So although there's like this desire for comfort, the universe is kind of like making that comfort a little bit unsettling. Like it won't let you be fully materially satisfied because it wants you to see the spiritual. It wants you to understand that not only are you at home in your home, but you're actually at home in this universe with everything that is happening. Um, this can, because the moon, which I'll talk about in a second, the moon will be passing Venus as she enters Purnavasu. There can be new energy that comes into your home life. Even if you're not thinking about it at the beginning of the week on Thursday, you know, maybe just questions around like, how do I want to live? Where do I want to live? How do I want to mother myself? How do I want to care for myself? It can almost be like the start of a new chapter in that question, in answering that. And the moon on Thursday is going to be in Pusha Nakshatra, which is in Cancer. And the moon's at home in Cancer, though it is quite emotional in Cancer. And the moon on Thursday will be sitting between Venus and Mercury, which can generally bring up conversations around money, around how you express your value, even the need to express your emotions in relationships and just not keep them a secret, like just be upfront and frank. Pusher is really nourishing, but it can also feel restrictive at the same time because it's wanting you to get the lesson and to understand the wisdom. And the only way to do that is often to make us a little bit uncomfortable. Its gift is spiritual energy. It loves worship and devotion. So this can be a day, I would be saying Thursday, if maybe your meditation practice has fallen off a little bit, or you're feeling a little bit disconnected, use Thursday to reconnect, to go a little bit deeper into your sadhana, into meditation, spend time in contemplation, even spend time contemplating the relationship you have with money and partnerships. The moon here will help you see the bigger picture, but it needs the time to show you. You can also find that this is find that most of the day things feel pretty balanced until you get to the evening or afternoon where things can feel a little bit restrictive. Now, if you're in Australia, that restrictive energy is not going to start until 10:41 p.m. on Thursday, so most likely you might be asleep and not actually experience it or experience it in the astral. For the rest of the world, it will be felt. There can be this sense of like restriction, the struggle for freedom that comes around Thursday afternoon. And then on Friday, the 22nd of August, Mercury re-enters Ashleisha. We'll be there till the 30th, to the end of the month. And here we're recapping Mercury retrograde. You know, if there's stuff you still have not resolved, if there were big things that happened to you during that retrograde period, particularly the 18th to the 29th of July, Mercury re-entering Ashleisha until the 30th is bringing that full circle. You need to, when Mercury is in Ashleisha, be very careful with your words, particularly because the moon is also going to be entering Ashleisha on Friday. So it's almost like the mind is naturally wanting to stir up some inner stuff. It's wanting to vent, maybe be a little bit toxic, kind of be a bit of a victim, and the voice will follow suit. So the more you can be considered with your words, tune into your emotions, but don't necessarily give them a voice to anyone but yourself. This will save you a lot of trouble. Like I said, it's easy for the mind in this position to be a little toxic, to bring up old stuff, even communication when it really needs to be kept to the self. Be really careful of repeating old patterns from Mercury retrograde from that 18th of July to 29th of July period. And also pay attention to people that reappear now or conversations that come back around now from that 18th to 29th period. There is the opportunity right with this movement to put things to bed, to seek forgiveness, to see gratitude in a situation that you couldn't. There is the opportunity to move beyond this cycle that Mercury retrograde was bringing up for you, particularly if it's not fully resolved. Now, the moon will be with Mercury in Ashleisha. So it just means that emotions that you've been pushing away or repressing really need to be felt on Friday, but feel them in a way which is safe. Um, there can be the ability to inflict poison on yourself and others with this nakshatra, with this position in Cancer. But there can also be the opportunity to move beyond that poison to get the wisdom, which means realizing that no one is the enemy. They're all there for our liberation. That very often we are the enemy. We create the enemy and we are our own enemy. Now, the moon and Mercury sitting together on Friday can feel a little crazed, can feel a little overwhelming and overactive. So, whatever you do, like, unless you're ready and you're feeling really courageous, just go easy on yourself. Give yourself space and time. If you know you're going to be in a particularly triggering situation on Friday, maybe like a difficult meeting or conversation or seeing friends or family, you might want to put it off to next week. Or if you do go in and do what you can do to prep your nervous system to be in that situation. So meditation, questioning your thinking, really parenting yourself. So just because the moon can bring up that poison very, very easily and it can come out the mouth very, very easily. Like I said, Friday does also mark the start of a new chapter because Ashleisha rules the end of a cycle. So it's like that poison is coming out, that pimple is being burst in order for healing to take place. Now, finally, the end of the week, we have a new moon. Saturday the 23rd. It's a Leo new moon in Magha Nakshatra. It will be conjunct Regulus, the Archangel Raphael star. All info about this is in the Magha Nakshatra ritual and reading. The details are below. Just know this moon is about ancestry. It is about understanding your lineage and what you carry with you as baggage everywhere you go until you're aware of it. It's very hard to see your ancestral programming. The best way to see it is in your family unit and with people who are related to you, and watch the behavior. And even bringing someone outside of your lineage into family situations will often show you what is not normal behavior that is considered normal within your family. That is what we're talking about with this new moon. It's very much a moon to be humble, to heal, to feel like you're shedding your skin, particularly after Friday's energy. It might feel really big on Saturday morning because the moon, as it heads into this new moon, will be Gandanta. Yeah, like I said, like similar to what the sun was doing at the beginning of this week, the moon will be coming out of a water sign into a fire sign. And this will be on Friday evening in the States, Friday evening or early Saturday morning, very early Saturday morning in Europe, and Saturday morning in Australia. And it can really stir something deep within us, which is good because hopefully we can see what it is that we're here to work with. And I will quickly mention that the other thing going on with the new moon is that Venus is going to be square Chiron. So just be prepared on Saturday that this kind of tension between these 2 signs can stir up tension around work, questions around your value, particularly how you're being valued in relationships. Um, and also where you might be speaking up in relationships and not being believed. It can stir up a lot of that energy along with the new moon. Take it easy with the new moon. Finally, I'll mention next week we have a really, really, really auspicious date. Ganesh Chaturthi, which is Ganesh's birthday. It will be on the 26th to the 27th of August. Myself and Siddhi Shakti, the incredible mantra spiritual teacher, we're going to be hosting a live event where we'll be working with the Ganesh mythology, understanding it, why it's so important in astrology, what this day represents, and then working with Ganesh's mantra. Ganesh is the remover of obstacles. If you are looking for help in shifting obstacles, old karmic patterns, even this ancestral energy, working with this mantra is there to help, is there to help awaken within you an understanding of what the obstacle is, how to work with that obstacle and move through it. All the details are below. And finally, if you want to go deeper, hit me up for a one-on-one reading and we can look at your chart. Have a wonderful week.